When you hear the name Taribo West, what comes to mind? For most football fans, it's the green, braided hair, the flamboyant tackles, and the fearless defender who wore his heart on his sleeve. But behind the iconic hairstyles and the memorable moments in the green and white of Nigeria lies a story very few know, a story that begins in the dangerous streets of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. A story of gangs, violence, brushes with death, and eventually, an unbelievable transformation from street hustler to World Cup legend, and finally, a pastor of the gospel. This is the untold story of Taribo West, one of football's most colourful and unforgettable characters. Taribo West was born in 1974 in Port Harcourt, one of Nigeria's oil-rich cities, but also a place known for poverty and gang culture. As a teenager, West wasn't dreaming of football glory. Instead, he found himself pulled into the world of street gangs. He later confessed that during those days, he was involved in fights, robberies, and even violence that could have easily cost him his life. His gang ran the streets, always at war with rivals, and West would come home with bruises and scars. "If not for football, I would probably have been dead by now," he once admitted. Football wasn't just a game, it was his way out of the streets. Taribo's raw talent was obvious even in the dusty fields of Port Harcourt. Scouts noticed his strength, speed, and aggression. He started with local sides, then joined Sharks of Port Harcourt, where his imposing presence began to attract attention. But his big break came when he joined Abanta United, and later Julius Berger, a Lagos-based club. It was here that West started to rise above his past, using football not only to earn money but to escape the dangers of gang life. By the early 1990s, he had earned a spot in Nigeria's youth setup, and from there, his journey to global football began. The turning point of Taribo's career came in 1996 at the Atlanta Olympics. Nigeria's dream team, led by the likes of Konu Nwankwo, J.J. Okocha, Daniel Amokachi, and Taribo West in defense, shocked the world. Against all odds, Nigeria defeated football giants Brazil and Argentina to win the Olympic gold medal. For Taribo West, this was more than a medal. It was a symbol that the boy from the streets of Port Harcourt, the boy who could have died in gang fights, was now a champion on the world stage. That victory opened the door to Europe. And the boy with the green braids was about to take his flamboyance to the biggest clubs in the world. West's style of defending was hard, uncompromising, and fearless. In 1997, he signed for Inter Milan, joining legends like Ronaldo Nazario, Javier Zanetti, and Yuri Djorkaeff. At Inter, West became known not only for his hairstyles, which he changed almost every week, but also for his rock-solid tackles. He helped the club win the UEFA Cup in 1998, cementing his place in European football. But West was never far from controversy. He fought with teammates, clashed with coaches, and even at times, his hot temper landed him in trouble. Later, he made the shocking switch to AC Milan, Inter's bitter rivals. Few Nigerian players have ever reached such heights to play for both Milan clubs in the golden era of Italian football. Taribo West wasn't just a defender. He was a showman. His hairstyles became legendary, from bright green braids to outrageous colors that made headlines. On the pitch, he tackled like a warrior, sometimes too aggressively, earning suspensions and yellow cards. But he was fearless, never backing down from any striker, whether it was Ronaldo, Batistuta, or Thierry Henry. Still, his career was never smooth. He moved across clubs, Derby County in England, Kaiserslautern in Germany, Partizan Belgrade in Serbia, but at each stop, stories of his strong character followed him. Here's where Taribo's story takes an unbelievable turn. In the early 2000s, after years of chasing fame, women, money, and nightlife, Taribo said he had an encounter that changed his life forever. One day, while staying in a hotel in Lagos, he claims a divine force came upon him. He cried, prayed, and decided to give up his old life to follow God. From then on, the flamboyant defender became Pastor Taribo West. He founded a ministry called Shelter in the Storm, where he began preaching the gospel with the same intensity he once used in his tackles. Fans couldn't believe it. The man once feared for his green braids and wild tackles was now in a suit, holding a Bible. As a pastor, Taribo West made headlines again, this time for his shocking revelations. He claimed that many footballers, even at the highest level, used voodoo, charms, and witchcraft to enhance their performances. He said he had seen players bathe in strange concoctions, consult witch doctors, and sacrifice animals before big matches. Taribo's sermons were fiery, controversial, and often made the news. Some laughed, some doubted, but many believed him because of his wild past and credibility as a former top footballer. Today, Taribo West is remembered as one of Nigeria's greatest defenders. He won Olympic gold, played in World Cups, and starred for some of Europe's biggest clubs. But beyond football, his life tells a bigger story of how a boy from gang-ridden Port Harcourt could rise, fall, and rise again, this time not as a footballer but as a preacher of faith. Taribo's journey is one of the most unique in football history. And whether you remember him for his green braids, his fearless tackles, or his sermons as a pastor, one thing is certain: you can't forget Taribo West.